would like a quick look at Womble, who's, I think you can see him down at the bottom of the screen. He's my cat. He's come to join us this evening. So, hi anyway. Just thought I'd film a video in daylight for once, which is a bit of a shocker for me. I thought I'd film a bit of a video. Mr. Womble's come to join us now on the bed. I thought I'd film a video about some of the positives I've found about the self-isolation during the COVID-19 outbreak. It might be sort of unusual to try and think about taking a positive outlook on things, but I think I wanted to try and find something good that had come out of an extremely bad situation, and for me there are several things that have happened that have sort of been good for me personally. Firstly, I've found that taking life a lot slower and spending a lot more time resting has meant that I've had a decrease in my level of chronic pain, because I've been able to spend a lot more time resting on my bed, and also because I haven't had to put clothes on me that are good for going out of the house in. It's been a lot easier for me to get dressed, and it hasn't put my body through the usual stress that getting dressed actually entails. So those are two positive things that I've found. Also, I've found that I've had a sort of decrease in negative mental health symptoms. I find socialising and going out can be quite stressful, and takes a lot of mental energy for me to do, so it's been nice to have that complete break from having to see people and sort of go out and do things. So that's been very positive. I've found I'm sleeping a great deal better, and just generally less stressed and de-stressed about getting things done and things generally. I've also been able to read more or listen to more audiobooks, and do more preparation reading for my course, or at least I will have done hopefully by the end of today. It's just been nice to be able to rest when your body wants to rest and sort of sleep when it wants to sleep. I've sort of felt very much recharged by having 2 weeks of enforced sort of no activity or very low levels of activity. I feel like it's almost like coming out of hospital, having sort of felt sort of as if you've had a lot of your physical problems addressed. So I think it's given me a bit of a lesson in terms of self-care and maybe doing less physically and trying or sort of being more accepting of help, maybe, and maybe doing less activities and taking more time for myself more often would be a very positive thing. Hopefully I'm planning before the end of the week to have picked up my brush again for the first time in a couple of months, and maybe get back to doing some painting that I did like I did over the Christmas period, as I find that also mentally very restful. And I'm not watching massive amounts of rolling news channel, which I think gets very counterproductive after a while. I'm old enough to remember the times when you only had news at specific hours of the day, or you had to go out and buy a newspaper, so you weren't sort of bombarded with scary things one after the other, and it just kept rolling round and sort of intensifying. I don't think it does society that much good in many ways to have the 24-hour access to news and internet that it does. And also you have the growth in fake news that we've seen since the internet became vastly more popular over the past couple of decades, and that hasn't done anybody any good. But I definitely don't think it's useful to just sit blindly watching rolling news channels or scrolling through scary stories of what's going on. I mean, it's good to keep abreast of what's going on in other countries, but I think you can take your exposure to things too far, and I'm very worried about children and younger people in this regard, because children now can see things maybe that would terrify them, and it might have more of a longer lasting effect than this outbreak will have, and I don't think it's good for them to have very frightening things going round in their heads at all. But that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. And also, having gone to a special school and being disabled since childhood, I have spent a lot of time sort of in isolation in the past, or in hospital, or away from school, where your friends are in different localities and you don't get to socialise as much, so you had to find sort of creative ways of occupying yourself, and there weren't things like the internet so much and things then, so you had to find things to do, and read a book, or just sort of learn a new thing, or try and find some sort of means by which your brain could sort of be stretched. And I think people will need to do that in the coming weeks and months, maybe for a while, particularly if you have long-term health conditions like I do, and also for those with very young children and those of school age, who are going to miss a great deal of their educational time. I think we can use this time productively, and sort of get to know each other on a more sort of human level. Find out what your kids enjoy learning, and find out how they learn, and you can give them work based around the things that they are interested in, and in a way that they will best sort of take on the work themselves. And who knows, people might find that they, a new love of learning. Children who haven't enjoyed a conventional school setting might find that they enjoy learning in this new sort of online environment, where things are more at their pace, or where they are not sort of confronted by other children who are sort of not struggling in the same way that they might be. I think this could have sort of some very positive gains for children who sort of struggle in the classroom. They can use this time to focus on things that they struggle with, focus maybe on basic skills and things like that, to sort of try and bridge maybe the gap that they're experiencing in the classroom and find a new sort of path in their educational life. I hope you find this video useful. I mean, this is just ramblings of a random middle-aged woman with bits and bobs to say. I hope you are all staying safe. I hope those of you who can stay indoors are doing so. I'd like to thank our essential workers, the NHS, and those who work in supermarkets and childcare and other sort of essential occupations. And hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Stay safe and stay healthy.